big idea today. We are going to be starting graphing. And I love this one. It's a nice change. So when you go into your math assignment today, you will see the link to my Google presentation is in math. So I want to make sure you guys are able to read your directions and your assignments. So this is Tuesday, 2:15, lesson 3.11, part 1. This is a 2-day lesson because I have a lot of things to teach you and discuss. So we're going to participate. You will need your math spiral, your math workbook, and a pencil. And remember, after the lesson, you can work on lesson 3.11 in Think Central. But some of you have a
Is
lot
it our
of
new
assignments
math book or
make.
our old math book?
I'm gonna, excuse me. Some of you have a lot of lessons to make up, so you wouldn't want to start on 311 if you haven't done some of the others. We are in the same math workbook we were, so it's volume 1. We won't switch till in January sometime. I'll let you know. Okay, so you can always just click and you'll see the Google slide will come up. You'll have access to that right from our assignment. But I want to remind you guys, read those directions, and that way you'll know what you're going to need for the day in math. All right, so our learning target today is, and this will be for tomorrow as well. It is a 2-day lesson. There's a lot of information. We're going to draw scaled pictographs and bar graphs and solve comparison problems using data, pictographs and bar graphs. I'm not sure why that in is there. And the reason we do this is you're going to need to be able to read graphs as you get older. And now I know that Mrs. Harrison and I read a lot of graphs when we give tests, that we have to look at different information in different ways. And so it's a skill that you will use to understand information. So we'll be able to read, interpret, and create pictographs. Those are one of my favorite types of graphs. We'll also be looking at the bar graphs. We'll look at them, we'll interpret them, we'll create them, and then we'll solve some word problems using these different types of graphs. All right, we're going to review first. So get out your spiral. I have added a couple things to this since we are moving on from telling time. That doesn't mean we want to forget it. So we're going to keep practicing telling time to the nearest minute. And also we're going to look at some of our measurement too. So let's start with 3 times 8. How about Haley Calendar? What is a good strategy to figure out what 3 times 8 is, or 3 groups of 8?
3 times 8 is just, it's plus 8 3 times. And that is a good strategy because it's just like counting up. So 8 times 3 equals 24.
Because you know 8 plus 8 is 16, right? And then you just add the 8 more and you'll get 24. Very nice. All right. Let's see. Ellie, 7 times 8. Do you have a strategy for 7 times 8? All right, Sunny, go for it.
My strategies for 7 times 8 is what you can do is you can do 7 times 5, which equals 35, and then you add 8.
Stop you real quick. We want to do 7 groups of 8. Do you want to do 5 groups of 8? Or are you going to do 5 times 7? Which one do you want to do? If we want to know what 7 groups of 8 are, we could do 5 groups of 8. Or are you looking at it as 8 groups of 7? Which one are you doing? Sunny, are you there, babe?
Well, what you can do is
way. Do you want to think of it as 8 times 7? Or do you want to think of it as 7 times 8?
7 times 8.
Okay, so now go ahead, walk us through that. We want to know
So
what 7 8s are. How can we figure that out?
You can do 7 plus 7 8 times.
Okay, is there a better way? That's going to take a long time.
What you can do is what you can do is 8 plus 8 equals 16. Well, no, 7 plus 7 equals 14. So you can add 14 plus 14, which
Okay,
equals
so
28, and then you can
you're
do
doing
20
this,
plus
okay.
28. And 28 plus 28
You're doing
equals
8 groups of 7. That's what you're looking at. So you're really thinking about it as 8 groups of 7, not 7 groups of 8, which is fine. It's commutative property. And now you're adding them all up, right?
which equals 24. So 14 plus 14 equals 24.
Not
And
quite. Check your work, Sonny. 14 plus 14 is not going to be 24. You got to add 4 plus 4, right?
Which equals 8.
8. And then, so it would be 28.
And 28 plus 28 would be 56.
Wow, that is some thinking. Nicely done. Anybody figure that out a different way? Can anyone think of maybe a quicker way that you can do that? How about Josh? Carter?
A quicker way to do 7, a quicker way to do it is, you could do,
What do you remember about 6 times 8? Do you guys remember our chant about 6 times 8?
6 times 8 is,
Come back till they were 48.
6 and 8.
6 times 8 is
Didn't come back till they were
48.
What can you do with that fact to help us with this, Josh?
so you just add, 1 more, and you add 1 more 8, and then 7 times 8 is 56.
Nice. All right. How about 18 divided by 9? Sawyer. How many 9s are in 18? Or what times 9 equals 18? This is what we're doing here. 18
I know it.
divided by 9.
2.
How do you know? Good job.
Because 9 plus 9 is 18.
Wow, well done. All right, 24 divided by 4, or 4 times what equals 24?
I did this one on Think Central. I know it. It's fresh in my brain.
Madison, that's who I had on my tip of my tongue. Let's, instead of yelling out, wait till you're called on, okay? Madison? How many 4s are in 24? Or what times 4 would be 24? And if you want to add them up, start counting up till you get to 24. Count by 4s on your fingers.
6.
Excellent. How did you figure that out, my dear?
I counted on my fingers.
Nice. Let's do it. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. 6 fingers. All right. Haley Booker, do you want to do this one? 472 plus 239.
Okay. So first you're gonna add 2 plus 9, which equals 11,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna give the 1 to the 7, and then drop the 1 down to the 9, and then you're gonna add 8 plus 3, and that equals 11 too. So you're gonna give the 1 down to the 3 and then put the 1 up by the 4. And then 5 plus 2 equals 7. So then it is 711.
Excellent. Surne, can you walk me through the next one? 886 plus 677.
You would do 6 plus 7 first, and that
You can count up from 7 and add 6 more. 7 in your head. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay, let's go in the tens place. You have 8 plus 1. What would that be, Surne? What's 8 plus 1 more? And then add the 7 to that. Or you could do 7 plus that 1 is 8. And if you know your doubles facts from 2nd grade, 8 plus 8.
Sixteen.
Yeah, 16. Okay, so we're going to make that new group in the hundreds place. Now we have the 1 plus the 8 plus the 6.
And then that would be, you could just take the answer from 8 plus 7 and subtract 1, since 7 is bigger, so it's 15.
I love that strategy.
1,563.
That's a great strategy. I don't know if you heard Surne, but she said since we know 1 plus 8 plus 7 is 16, then we can just say 1 plus 8 plus 6 is 1 less than 16, which would be 15. And nice job reading in the thousands place. All right, now be careful. We're moving to subtraction. Don't let me fool you. 632 minus 467. I'm going to pull out of my can. Charlie Carr, can you walk me through this?
So I can't do 7 from 2, so I gotta go over to the 3, cross it out, make it 2, bring the 1 over to the 2, and 12 minus 7 is 5. So, and I can't do 3 from, and I can't do 6 from 2, so I gotta go over to the 6, cross it out, make it a 5, bring the 1 over to the 2, and 12 minus 6 is 6, and 5 minus 4 is 1.
Well done. Is there anybody who can actually walk us through the box trick that we did yesterday? Someone who feels confident? I'm not going to pull out of the can for that. Is there anyone who thinks they could do that? Max Stiesberg, I see your hand is up. Will you unmute and share with us? How would we do 700 minus 486?
Since you can't subtract 0 from 6, you would put a box around the 70. You would take 1 from it, and then you would put above the 70, 69. Then you would put the 1 next to the 0, and then that makes the 10 a 10. Then 10 minus 6 is 4. Then 9 minus 8 is 1. And then 6 minus 4 is 2.
Excellent. All right, what time is it on our first clock? Let's see, August, what time is it? On this clock right here. Here.
3:25.
Okay, let's look at the shorthand first. Remember, that's your hour hand. What is the hour hand pointing to?
The 5.
So we're in the
And
5.
so I was wrong.
That's okay.
It's 5:15.
Excellent. And August, if I were eating dinner, would that be AM or PM?
That would be PM, because
And
at 12 o'clock.
how many minutes after the hour would it be?
It would be 5.
Well, how many minutes are there? 5, 10, you said 15, right? 15 minutes after 5. And then it would actually be 45 minutes before 6. All right, let's look at the next clock. Paxton, what are you thinking, bud? What time is it?
12:30.
Very good. And how, if it's 12:30 and I'm getting ready for all block, I'm here at school, is it AM or PM?
PM.
Wow, I thought I might get you on that, but I didn't. You're right. Because it doesn't turn to AM until midnight, right? So it would still be it would be PM. How many minutes after the hour, Paxton?
30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes after what?
12 o'clock?
Yes. And how many minutes until 1 o'clock would it be?
30 minutes.
Yes, very good. All right. What unit is better to measure the distance from Denver to Bailey? Feet, inches, yards, or miles? Let's see. How about Lucas? Would you measure that in feet, inches, yards, or miles? Is Lucas Stewart here?
Miles.
Yeah, why miles and not feet?
Yes, miles.
Okay, yeah, it's way too far of a distance, too long of a distance to use a small unit. You want to use a large unit.
Feet is because feet is not if you need to measure to get from Denver to Bailey.
You're right. Good job. Okay, guys, we are going to go ahead and learn a little bit more about pictographs before we start creating them and analyzing them. Make sure you are muted. We have some background noise. See if you can mute if you are not muted. Thank you. Lucas, that might be you. I'm not sure.
Charlie Carr.
Can you mute everyone, Miss Aubin?
Yeah, can you please mute everybody? It's kind of hard for me to hear this.
people voted for pears and grapes. You can also show the same information in a different way. Whoa, Moby, that's a lot of fruit. Are you going to share? Thanks, Moby.
Okay, so that was good explanation on pictographs and how we make them. And we will be making pictograph today, it looks like. So you will need to get out, and let me stop this, hold on. Your math workbook. Get out your math workbook. And we're not gonna look at that yet, sorry. Okay, so turn to page 193 in your math workbook. And we have here a pictograph, and it is about favorite ice cream flavors. So one thing you're gonna notice is that title that you heard about in the video. In the video, I noticed though their key, really most of them stood for one vote. You are gonna find that in 3rd grade, most of our pictographs in their key, where it tells what each symbol stands for, are not gonna be one vote. That's more for 1st and 2nd graders. We're gonna have numbers like 2, 3, 4, 5, higher than 1. So you have to be very, you have to pay attention to that key. So this pictograph is giving 3 choices. They have peanut butter crunch, cherry vanilla, and chocolate. And here are the votes for each one. But if I were to look at this and think it's just one per ice cream cone, I would get all my answers wrong. So again, I want you to circle right now with your pencil the key. And I loved how Moby held up a key to like a door. It's not that kind of key. It's a key that gives you information, right? It's right down here. It will always tell you what each one of the symbols stands for. And in this case, each one stands for 4. So if we are looking at peanut butter crunch, if we have 1 ice cream cone, that's gonna be equal to 4 people that like peanut butter crunch the best, but we have half of an ice cream cone here. So I have to take 4 and divide that by 2. I have to get half of that. And I know that 2 goes into 4 2 times because 2 times 2 equals 4. So I'm gonna count 2 votes for the half ice cream cone, which means 4 plus 2 would equal 6. So 6 people feel like peanut butter crunch is their favorite ice cream flavor. So looking at cherry vanilla, Astria, if there are 3 ice cream cones and they symbolize 4 people each, how many people voted for cherry vanilla as their favorite ice cream flavor? Astria?
$12.
And can you explain how you know?
Is because I know 4 times 4, that's 8. So I just added 4 more to 8.
Okay, so you did 4 plus 4 equals 8, and then you added 4 more, and you got 12, which is really the same thing as saying 3 times 4, right? You can use your multiplication skills because we're doing repeated addition. Nice explanation. Okay, what about
4 times 4 isn't 8. 16.
Okay, what about chocolate? I noticed that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ice cream cones, and they're all representing 4 votes. Jensen, how many people voted for chocolate as their favorite ice cream flavor? And how do you know?
20.
You're right. How do you know?
Because each ice cream stands for 4, and I counted all of the ice creams on chocolate, which is 1 4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
So you counted by fours. Did anyone use a multiplication equation to solve that? Or can you see one?
I did.
Go ahead. Gabe, what would the multiplication equation be? How many ice cream cones are there for chocolate? Gabe?
There is 20.
Well, let's just count the ice cream cones. Ready? Count with me, Gabe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
So 4 times 5 would equal 20.
Yeah. So if we know they're all representing 4 votes, then we could multiply 2. And 5 times 4 is pretty easy, isn't it? Because we know our 5s. All right, so we have looked at the pictograph. Now I'm going to ask you, how many votes were there for chocolate? We just did that. So what would that be? Number 1 is 1. All right, Katie, how many votes were there for chocolate? We just figured that one out. 20 votes. Hey, let's look at number 2. How many people in all voted for their favorite ice cream flavor? How would we do that? Let's see. We did call on someone different. Robert, how would we solve that? I want to know how many people voted in all.
You would count every single line, and then you would add all the numbers that you got.
Okay, so we did get our numbers. Should we add them up? Okay, walk me through it, Robert. You ready? What's 6 plus 2 plus 0?
8,
And what's 1 plus 2?
3,
So how many people voted in all?
38.
All right, so 38 people. Well done. All right, how many votes were there for cherry vanilla? August, what did we get for cherry vanilla? August, can you unmute? How many votes did we get for cherry vanilla? Go back to the graph.
12.
12 votes. Okay, how many people did not vote for chocolate? How many people did not vote for chocolate? They voted for peanut butter crunch and cherry vanilla instead. Cooper, what do you think?
8 votes?
Where are you getting 8?
Wait,
8.
what?
The question's number 4. How many people did not vote for chocolate? So we know 20 people voted for chocolate. How many people did not vote for chocolate?
18?
Correct. How did you know?
Because I counted by 4s.
What did you count by 4s?
I counted peanut butter crunch and cherry vanilla.
Excellent. So you could just say 4, 8, 12, 16, and then 17, 18 for your half cone, which would be 2 people. All right, let's look at number 5. How many fewer votes were there for peanut butter crunch than chocolate? So peanut butter crunch had 6, chocolate had 20. We're doing a comparison. Elena, what do I want to do with those 2 numbers to find out how many fewer votes were there for peanut butter crunch than chocolate?
You see
the number for both of them, and then you subtract the number that has more than it.
Okay, can you tell me how I would do that?
So you would take 3 away from the chocolate, so they would be even.
Okay.
And then you would see how many were in those 3.
And what did you get when you did it that way?
12.
Okay, well, let's do it this way, 20 minus 6, because we know there are 20 votes for chocolate, and we know there were 6 peanut butter crunch votes. So let's check your work. Your strategy could work as well, but you might be off on your counting. Can you do 0 minus 6?
6.
Elena, can you do 0 minus 6? Yes or no?
Yes.
If I don't have any apples, can I give you 6 apples?
No.
No. So if the number on top is smaller than the number below it, you cannot do it. What do you have to do, Elena?
You have to take the 2 and put it at that as a 1, and then put the 1 to the 10, and then 10 minus 6 equals 4.
And 1 minus nothing is
0, 1.
1. Okay, so 14. And I can't write down there, so I'm going to put it here for number 5. So it would be 14 votes. And last but not least, how many more? I've told my class, when you see how many more, you know it means you're comparing. You're finding a difference, which is subtraction. But this is more than one step. How many more people voted for chocolate, which is 20, right? We know we have 20. And I'm going to have to, yeah, it won't let me write there. Then for peanut butter crunch and cherry vanilla combined. Max Deesberg, can you walk me through this?
First you need to add butter, crunch, and cherry, vanilla.
Okay, that's, what are the votes for peanut butter crunch and cherry vanilla? What 2 numbers do I add?
You add that 6 with 12.
Okay, and what did you get?
I got 18.
All right, and how did you know you had to add peanut butter crunch and cherry vanilla? What words in the text let you know that?
More.
Well, let's go back down to the bottom. It says, how many more people voted for chocolate than for peanut butter crunch and cherry vanilla combined? What 2 words tell me I'm putting things together?
Combined.
Very good, and. All right, so we know how many votes peanut butter crunch and cherry vanilla got together. They got 18. Now I need to find the difference between that and 20 because chocolate got 20. How do I find the difference between those 2 numbers, Max?
You can subtract 18 from 20.
Okay, so 20 minus 18, and what do you get?
2.
2, so 2 people. And I gotta write up high, sorry, because it won't let me write down low. 2 people. Okay, good job. We're gonna move on to the next page, 194. And I'm gonna have, we're gonna create now a pictograph. We're gonna actually draw a pictograph, and then I'm gonna have you guys do some work in triads. But first, we're gonna make our pictograph. So get your pencil. On page 194, we're gonna use this data in this chart to create the pictograph. Now think back to the video, and she said that you would make horizontal lines and write the different categories or types on the side. So these are CDs. You guys probably don't even know what CDs are, but they're like they look like mini records. They're the way we used to play music. Some of you might still have CDs. Some cars have CD players. Okay, you don't need to say it out loud. You can just give me a thumbs up.
Like 5.
Okay, and this person, Kane, has some data about his collection of CDs. So the type of CDs Kane has are jazz, so that's jazz music. He has rap music and classical. And then the number of CDs are to the right in the chart. So he has 12 CDs that are jazz, 16 that are rap, and 4 that are classical. But we're gonna make a pictograph. And a CD is round, like the old-fashioned records, and they're flat if you have not seen them. So what do you think a good symbol would be for our pictograph for CD, Lucas? What could we do?
A circle inside a circle.
I'm sorry, Lucas. Can you share your thinking? Here, I can show you what a CD looks like.
I have about 100 of them. I have a literal.
Me too. Like we used to watch movies.
There you go, Lucas. What shape do you think we could use in our pictograph for our CDs? Do you see it, Lucas? All right, so guys, if you can mute and not yell out, it's hard because when I call on somebody and you're talking, then we can't hear them. And now
I
we've
have
got
about 100 CDs at my house.
chat. Okay, all right. Elena, what shape might we want to use for our pictograph?
Those CDs look
A
like
circle.
a circle. A circle. I know what they look like, just how in a circle. Yeah, a circle.
You're muted, Mrs. Aubin.
I know what the CD looks like. I just got a little confused.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. Oh, I'm not muted now. Okay, I think it's just feedback. Lucas, I'm gonna mute you because you're not muted. Ah, that might have been it. Okay. All right, kiddos, here we go. So we're gonna go and use a circle. Great thinking. And we're gonna create our pictograph. So on the sides, we'll label the different types of CDs. So we'd have jazz. Jazz would be here. Then we'd have rap. And then we'd have classical. Now, we said we wanted to use a circle, and you could put a dot in the middle or a circle within a circle. That's fine. I heard a lot of you mention that. Now here's where it gets tricky. Each circle stands for how many CDs? Remember when I told you? Oh boy. So check and make sure you're muted, guys. There's some feedback. It's really hard to hear. Thank
I have
you.
everybody muted but you, so I really don't know what's causing the feedback because I have everybody muted. Sure.
Maybe it's something here.
It could be. I've even muted myself so that I could, that in case it was me, but I don't know.
All right.
My computer.
All right, so we're gonna look at the numbers. We have 12 for jazz, 16 for rap, and 4 for classical. So as we look at those numbers, I have to think of what I can represent my circle for. I don't want to use ones because that's not something we're doing in 3rd grade. We're way above that. What number could I use that would be a multiple? These numbers would be a multiple of. Think of the numbers 4, 12, and 16. Like what can I use that would times blank would equal 4? What times blank would equal maybe 12? What times blank might equal 16? So blank times, I'm thinking 1, maybe 3, 4. What number could we use that might be, those would be a multiple of? Any idea? Josh, go ahead. What are you thinking?
They're all 4s.
Yeah, they could all be a multiple of 4, right? So that would be nice and easy. Is there any other multiple that we could use? There is another one that would give us these answers. So blank times 2 would equal 4. Blank times 6 would equal 12. Blank times 8 would equal 16. What other multiple could we use, Robert?
Addition.
Well, what number? We're looking at multiplication, multiples. What number would we fill in these blanks that would give us 4, 12, and 16? Those are the number of CDs we have. So that when we draw our circles, they'll be
2 times 2 equals 4. 2 times 6 equals 16, and 2 times 8 equals 16. Oh.
Yeah. So we could choose 4s or we could do 2s. Either one would work. If I make each circle stand for 4, I don't have to draw as many. So I'm going to say each circle stands for 4 CDs. So if that's the case, and I have 12 for jazz, how many circles am I going to draw if 1 equals 4? How many do I need? What do you think, Gabe? I want to know how many 4s I need to get to 12. You got this. Count by 4s till you get to 12, Gabe. You can do it. All right, Gabe, look up at the board, bud. Look up here. If 1 circle is 4, what would 4 more be? I can't hear you. You could unmute. I see your mouth moving, Gabe, but I don't hear you. Can you unmute? All right. Cooper, can you take it over?
What?
How many circles would I need if they each are representing 4 for jazz, since there are 12 CDs in Kane's collection?
3?
Excellent. How do you know?
Because I counted by 4s.
Excellent. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12, or you could do 3 times 4 equals 12. All right, what about for rap? Cooper, while I've got you on here, how many circles do I need to draw for the wrap if there's 16 in the collection?
4,
Right. Why?
because I counted by 4s.
And 4 times 4 is?
16.
You got it. And last but not least, classical. How many do I need for classical?
1.
1, because if they're going to represent 4. All right, here's what I'd like you to do. You are going to answer numbers 8 through 11 in a breakout group. You're going to do these together. You have all your information. The questions are like the ones we did before. How many CDs in all does Kane have? How many more rap CDs does Kane have than classical? How many fewer jazz CDs does Kane have than rap? And how many pictures? I love this one. How many pictures would you draw to show that Kane has 9 country and western CDs? So you might have to do some fractions on that one, number 11, because it's not a multiple of 4. So that's a little tricky. See if you and your team can figure it out. So I'm going to see if it'll let me do this.
I've already got it. We're all
Oh, you
ready.
did? Okay, thank you. All right, page 194, you're going to work in triads, and I'm hoping to pop into each one and see how you're doing. Talk to your teammates, share your thinking. All right, you may join. Hi, guys.
Hi.
All right, let's see if we can figure this out.
How many CDs in all the, what we could do is we can add 12. No, first we can add 16 plus 4, which would equal 20, and then we can add 20 plus 12, which would equal 32.
And that would tell you all of them, right? Because
That's what the first question is.
yeah.
How many more rap CDs does? Okay, so what we could do is we could do 16 take away 4, which would be 12.
Wait, make sure Elena's with you. Elena, have you caught up? Are you?
Almost.
Give her 1 minute, okay, Sunny? And then I want to hear her thinking too. Or maybe you do that one and then let her do one,
Okay.
just so you can take turns. I'm going to come back. I'll be right back. I think I'm going to